gold will have a connection with whatever monetary system we end up. Should be obvious to anybody that watches these and the analysis in all of the videos that we've been doing that we are nearing the end of this grand experiment that Nixon started on August 15th, 1971. Hi, it's Mike and Ellen with the Gold Silver Show once again, and my producer, Dan Rubach, just spoke with an old friend of mine, and that old friend is David Morgan, and he sent him an article. I didn't know about this until just a couple of minutes ago. Alan has the article, and he's going to present it to me. So, Alan, hit me with this.
Yes, here you go, Mike. This is from the Morgan Report, David Morgan, as you mentioned. And the article here is Freedom Dies When Money Lies, Why Sound Money is the Foundation of a Free Society. So I thought we could go through that article today, and I'd love to get your real-time feedback for our viewers if that's something you're interested in.
I'm very interested in it. I have not read this yet. Dan spoke with him and sent it to you, I guess, planning on ambushing me with this. So go ahead and ambush me.
All right, let's get into it. Freedom dies when money lies. Why sound money is the foundation of a free society. There's an old truth we forget at our peril. When money loses its integrity, freedom soon follows. Throughout history, the erosion of honest currency has marched in lockstep with the erosion of civil liberties. The connection is not coincidental, it's causal. Because money is not just a medium of exchange, it is the lifeblood of voluntary action. When it's corrupted, everything downstream begins to decay. Personal agency, self-reliance, and ultimately, freedom itself.
And that's what we're seeing today in society. Society just seems to be falling apart.
I agree completely. Okay. Let's continue. In a truly free society, individuals make decisions based on trust. They trust that the fruits of their labor, measured in currency, will retain value over time. They trust that savings will serve as a store of wealth, not a melting ice cube. They trust that investments will respond to real-world fundamentals, not the whims of unelected technocrats operating behind closed doors. But a rigged monetary system destroys that trust. When central banks manipulate interest rates to artificially low levels, flood markets with fiat currency, and monetize endless government debt, they set off a chain reaction of distortions. Prices no longer reflect reality. Markets no longer reward prudence. Debt becomes addictive. And those playing by the old rules, earning, saving, investing, find themselves punished rather than protected. Sounds completely true to me.
Absolutely. Everybody has been driven away from being a saver into speculation. They have to jump into the stock market or some other much riskier way of doing things. If you have sound money, actually, I call it honest money. If you have honest money and you can't expand the currency supply, deflation is the natural order of things. Everything, you should be able to stash gold under your mattress, and when you take it out and spend it 2 years later, it's worth more. It buys more stuff tomorrow than it does today. So you don't need to put it in a bank and get it in interest rate to try and stay ahead of inflation. There wouldn't be any inflation because mankind gets more efficient and we're always inventing new stuff. And so the natural order of things is for everything to become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. We live in a matrix, false world reality that just, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Deflation is the normal state of things, but inflation is the most insidious form of this punishment. It operates in silence, without debate or legislation, yet affects everyone. It erodes purchasing power, diminishes the value of savings, and forces people to take on more risk just to stand still. It's a hidden tax, and one with no vote, no debate, and no transparency.
Yes, it is. And taxes are, they're not supposed to be able to pass taxes in the United States without Congress voting on it. Like all of these tariffs are actually unconstitutional. We'll see what the court decides, whether we're going to morph the law and once again spit on the Constitution like Congress seems to do every single day. But nobody voted for this. And the whole thing is just evil.
And here's the deeper issue. Inflation doesn't just attack the wallet, it attacks freedom. When people can't save, they can't plan. When they can't plan, they can't act independently. They become more reliant on credit, on government assistance, on large institutions that can manage the instability the system itself created.
Yeah, I've always, it's difficult when the state is supporting so many people and they become so dependent on it. When I moved to Puerto Rico, I really saw it big time, especially since the pandemic. It's really hard to hire somebody here. Very difficult because you're competing against the government. They know that if you hire them, they're going to lose their benefits. So nobody wants a job. They don't want to work because it's so much easier to just let the government pay them out of taxes. But when the government creates more currency to do all of this, it just creates it's a positive feedback loop that creates more and more people that lose their independence. David is absolutely right here.
It's very, very sad. That dependency is the opposite of liberty. It breeds control, and that's precisely the danger. History shows that when monetary systems collapse, the political fallout is rarely far behind. We saw it in Weimar Germany, where hyperinflation helped pave the way for authoritarianism. We see it today in places like Venezuela, where failed currency leads to failed governance and widespread civil unrest. Even in the United States, the weakening of the dollar's purchasing power over the last century has coincided with a massive expansion of federal control over private life.
Yes. I want to say he mentions Weimar. We saw it in Weimar, Germany. Okay. After the hyperinflation that happened right after World War I, on the final week of that hyperinflation is where Adolf Hitler first made history, where the public became aware of him. Nobody knew who he was before that, but he and his stormtroopers surrounded a beer hall that held about 3,000 people. There were about 3,000 people in the audience that night. And they barricaded the doors and they had machine guns pointed at him. Nobody could leave. So this was literally a captive audience. And he gave a speech that when he entered the hall, he was pretty much everybody's enemy. But when he left, his speech was so convincing that he was their hero. The dependency is the opposite of liberty. And this is a huge danger. Dave has just absolutely nailed this. Go ahead.
Yeah, this isn't alarmism, it's pattern recognition. When money is debased, citizens become easier to manage. Their time horizon shortens. Their stress level rises. They become less likely to resist, protest, or question. Too busy making ends meet, too confused to see the bigger picture. That's why regimes throughout history have leaned on monetary manipulation. It's the invisible handcuff.
Wow.
In that light, the defense of sound money becomes more than a financial concern. It becomes a moral and political imperative. A currency that holds its value empowers people to live independently, to think long-term, and to resist coercion. It protects sovereignty, both national and individual. Remember, sovereignty simply means the capacity for self-determination.
This all shows Dave has been a friend of mine. I think we first met in 2004, but we really got together in 2005 up at something called Gold Rush 21 up in the Klondike. He's just absolutely nailed this on the head. When he says invisible handcuffs, that shows you how evil our monetary system is, that it is the invisible handcuff.
Gold and silver have served this role for thousands of years, not because they're shiny, but because they are scarce, verifiable, and resistant to central control. They are the antidote to fiat deception. That's why they've always been the enemy of empires and the ally of free people.
I really hope we're going back that direction, but something just tells me that gold will have a connection with whatever monetary system we end up. Should be obvious to anybody that watches these and the analysis in all of the videos that we've been doing that we are nearing the end of this grand experiment that Nixon started on August 15th, 1971, when, up until that point, every time a nation had abandoned real money, gold and silver, and replaced it with a fiat currency, it failed. 100% failure rate. And then August 15th, 1971, when the dollar became disconnected from gold and we ended the Bretton Woods system, the rest of the world became disconnected from gold at the same time because they were all connected to gold through the US dollar. So we began a grand experiment where the hundreds of times that it's been conducted in the past, it has always failed. There is no success before 1971 of a fiat currency surviving. And we shifted the whole world to this. And you can see that after all these years, things are just starting to crumble right before our eyes.
Yeah. Fiat currencies always fail because they're simply theft, and theft always fails. You can't steal your way to prosperity.
Yeah.
Today, as central banks inflate away the last remnants of trust in the system, and digital currencies offer new tools of control under the guise of convenience, the battle over money is reaching a new inflection point. Will we continue down the path of dependence and dilution, or will we reclaim the principles of honest money and with them the promise of a truly free society? The answer will determine far more than the price of gold or the return on your portfolio. It will determine whether future generations live as free people or managed subjects of a technocratic financial system designed to control, not liberate. Yours in freedom, David Morgan.
Wow. That is just the article is an amazing article because he nails it right on the head. It is perfect. By the way, people should go and visit David Morgan's website, themorganreport.com, and his Silver Guru 22 on, that's twitter.com. It's x.com now. It just sort of brings together so many of the things that you and I have been talking about, Alan. I truly hope that we end up with gold and not a gold standard. Gold is the freedom. If countries, the dollar, the yen, the euro, the pound, they should not exist. We should have nanograms, milligrams, grams, and so on. That's how we should be measuring the value of things. We should be doing grams and milligrams of gold, and we should be doing grams and kilos of silver. That's the way things should be priced, in weight, not in some national fiat currency. These fiat currencies are all just schemes to confiscate the wealth of the population and enslave them. And it is sad that people don't realize this and that it's happening invisibly to them. It's those invisible handcuffs. Yeah. I want to thank you for this, Alan. This was great.
Yes, my pleasure, Mike. Thank you for taking the time. And I want to end with a meme here of what people think paying taxes is like and what it's actually like.
Yep, it really is throwing away your currency. So, but what's the currency going to be worth in the end anyway? It's going to be worth the amount of BTUs you can extract from it by burning it,
which is not much.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks, Alan.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Invest and earn up to $2,000 in bonus silver at GoldSilver.com. It's easy. Step 1. Open any GoldSilver storage account excluding IRAs. Step 2. Purchase your precious metals. Step 3. Get up to $2,000 in bonus silver dropped straight into your vault. Visit GoldSilver.com/free silver to claim your silver.